Okay. Where to begin? If you've watched a few of my videos, you'll probably recognize this is not my house. I am staying with my parents at the moment. And if you read the title of the video, then I guess you'll know that I have breast cancer. Not really a video that I was expecting to make. Still not really sure what I want to film or what I want to share or what these videos might look like going forward, or everything's a bit unknown, but I'm feeling well enough to kind of sit here and talk about things and do an update. So yeah, I just figured I'd get the camera out and I just talk, and maybe I'll use this and maybe I won't. And it's just hard to know exactly what I'm doing at the moment because my life has just been a whirlwind. So a month ago yesterday, on June 24th, I went in for a doctor's appointment and I was told that the lump that I had found was cancer. So yeah, basically I found a lump myself. It took me quite a while to get into my GP. I had a 6-week wait from when I tried to make the appointment to see my GP. Once I got into her, she really quickly got me referred for an ultrasound. At the ultrasound, they were obviously concerned, so they sent me to get a biopsy. There just wasn't a radiologist working in my local radiology clinic, otherwise they could have done it there, but they didn't have someone, so I had to go to another appointment. And yeah, so I had that biopsy on a Friday, and by Tuesday, when I went back to see my GP to get the results, they knew it was cancer. So since then, I've, obviously had so many appointments, so many tests, just so much stuff going on. I found out I have triple negative breast cancer, which basically means that it's not hormone positive, so it's not estrogen or progesterone positive. Those don't feed it, and it's not HER2 positive. It's just a lot of medical jargon. I'm learning a lot of it, but basically triple negative breast cancer is generally pretty fast growing. It's pretty aggressive, and that's what they found with mine. Yeah, it's the kind of thing that you gotta get onto, you gotta get on top of. So I pretty quickly got started on, I'm doing chemotherapy and immunotherapy. Basically my first round was, I was on carboplatin, paclitaxel and pembro, but that was, I started that and that was okay. I was just really, really fatigued. That first week that I started chemo, that was my main symptom. A little bit of my mouth was dry, a bit of a funny taste, a little bit of indigestion, but mostly just fatigued. And then so the way it works is I get all 3 of those drugs on week 1, and then week 2 and 3, I'm only meant to have the paclitaxel chemo drug. But week 2 of chemo, I went in and I just had the paclitaxel, no issues having it. That was on a Wednesday. And then that night I developed fevers, chills, bone pain, got really, really hot, woke up the next morning, kind of knew it wasn't right, but just, you don't really know what to expect with chemo or what your side effects are going to be. So just kind of had the morning, I was meant to catch up with some friends and I had to cancel that because I knew I just wasn't right. And then it got to mid-morning and I was like, that's it, I've got to take my temperature. Because one of the things when you're on chemo is that you've got to keep a really close eye that your temperature doesn't get too high. Anyway, took my temperature and I was above 38 degrees, which is an instant go to the emergency room. It can just become really serious really quickly when you're on these kind of drugs. So I just had this raging fever and went to the hospital. They put me on some fluids. They ran a heap of tests, chest x-rays, blood tests, urine tests, COVID tests, all the tests. They couldn't find out exactly what it was that was causing it. They thought possibly a little viral infection or something, but it was nothing serious, no RSV, influenza, none of those. They could rule all of that out, but I was just so unwell. Thankfully, they were able to send me home. I didn't have to stay overnight. Yeah, woke up the next day and felt pretty good. They put me on some antibiotics. So I was like, okay, great. And then it got to Sunday. And again, I woke up and I was like, I'm not right. Something's wrong. And I came out in a rash all over my whole body, just like this red, bright, horrible rash covering my body. Thankfully, it wasn't itchy, but I was, again, feverish. I was febrile. I was so warm. So back to the emergency room. We were there for like 6 hours or something. It was a very, very long day of laying around in an emergency bed. Well, again, they just ran all of the tests. And of course, it was the weekend, so everything took a little bit longer. But I was beetroot red. Like, I cannot describe to you how red I was. This rash was intense, and the heat. My temperature got up to like 39.4. And so, yeah, they put me on more fluids and started me on some steroids. And they were pretty sure I was having an immune response to the chemotherapy. So that was the second week. And then on Wednesday, I went back to have my third round. So again, this should have just been the paclitaxel chemo drug, and got there for that. They hooked me up and started the infusion. And I don't even think I got 5 minutes of the drug coming through before I had an allergic reaction. So I just had like this sudden like pain in my back, super, super itchy feet and legs. My face went bright red again. I was hot. And it just came on really quickly. And I just looked to one of the chemo nurses and I was like, oh, I'm getting too hot. Something's wrong. And so they shut down all the drugs and they pumped me with a different steroid. And yeah, so the reason I'm actually feeling kind of okay today is because I didn't get any chemo this week, because they just couldn't risk it with the reaction I was having to the paclitaxel. They couldn't risk continuing to give it to me that day. So who knows what the plan is now. One thing about this whole cancer, I hate the word journey, but journey, is that it's teaching me that I just got to go day by day, because every day is unknown. Every day is different. Every day is just, you never know what's going to happen. So I'm embracing these few days. There's about 4 days where I'm feeling good, feeling like as normal as possible. I'm still a little bit fatigued, but feeling pretty normal, because I've got another big week coming up. So on Monday, I am having my port placed. If you don't know much about chemo, which, let's be honest, a month ago I didn't either. But so far they've been giving my chemo just through my veins, my arm. Just a little cannula in there, but I don't have great veins. They're kind of hard to find. The nurses have a little bit of trouble finding a good vein. So what I will be having is a port. There's nothing there here yet, obviously, but it's a little device that goes in my chest and then up over here, and then hooks into a vein into my heart, and then they'll be able to administer my chemo straight through that port. So I will be basically at the hospital all day on Monday, because that's getting installed, I guess you could say. Then Tuesday, I'm meeting with my oncologist again. I already had that appointment set, but it'll be really good to see him, because he wasn't really sure what the plan's going to be now that I'm having that reaction to the chemo drug. We might need to do a different drug, or there might be a desensitization protocol we need to go through. So I'm not sure, but I've got an appointment with him, which will be good to find out what we're thinking of doing to move ahead. And then Wednesday I have chemo again. So we're back around to, I'll definitely have the carboplatin and the pembro. And then paclitaxel. We'll see what the plan is. Who knows? But yeah, this week coming is port, appointment, chemo day. It's all happening. At the moment, it feels like every second day I'm at the hospital or at an appointment. It's a lot. I'm not working. It looks like I won't be back at work this year. Being a primary school teacher, obviously, schools are germy places, especially over winter. And just with my immune system being weak with all of the treatment and the type of treatment I'm having, it doesn't really make sense to be in a classroom. It's just not the best place for me, and really, the way my treatment's gone so far, I've been lucky to get 2 days in a row where I would even be up to going to work and being able to do things. So at the moment, no work. I am staying with my parents. I usually live alone, and obviously I've got Mason, my dog, and it's just a lot. And yeah, I haven't been very well. I haven't been in a great place to look after myself that well in terms of like cooking or walking the dog. And yeah, mum and dad are amazing. They're doing so much for me, and I'm very, very grateful that I can stay here for a while. But as with everything, it's just hard to think too far into the future. It's hard to know how I am going to react to things or what's coming or what the next part of the treatment plan is. It's all just very day by day. So far my hair is holding out. I chopped it. So before I started chemo, the weekend before I started my first round of chemo, my mum's, one of my mum's really good friends is a hairdresser, and she just came by the house and just chopped it down for me. Just so that when it does start falling out, it's not so crazy with really, really long hair, because I have very thick, a lot of hair. So, but this morning I jumped in the shower and gave it a wash, and I usually lose a little bit of hair because I do have just such thick hair, but yeah, quite a clump this morning. It was quite a bit. I just like stuck it on the shower wall as it came out in the shower, and then when I got out, I just gave it a comb through. And yeah, so this is about the right time frame this week is when it would be predicted to be starting to fall out. I don't know if because I missed that one round of taking the chemo this week, if that's going to delay it at all, but yeah, it's going to eventually come out, which is, you know, part of the deal with chemo. But I bought some little silk little turbans so that I can cover up my hair. I guess when it really does start like clumping out, I'll shave it. But I got some little turbans, and I actually got a wig that I am actually really excited about, because I didn't go for a practical wig. I'd probably still get a practical wig, but I just had this ad that kept popping up on my Facebook for this pastel pink wig, and it's my dream hair color. Like, I've tried to get my hair to this pink color before, and so I was kind of like, if you get to pick a wig and have any color in the world, why not pink? So I bought a pink wig. Yeah, at this point I'm just rambling, but I don't know. I don't know how much of this I want to share and how much I don't want to share. And you know, today, like I said, I feel good, but a lot of days all I do is sleep, or I just don't feel well and I don't feel up to filming. So I don't know, but I have been following some really open people, I guess, people on YouTube and TikTok that are really, like, you know, just sharing snippets into their day and their experience going through something like this. And that's been really helping me. So if I could be that for someone else, it just feels really worthwhile to share. I'm feeling really grateful that I have been a follower of Eamon and Beck for quite a while, their YouTube channel. And Beck's shared quite a bit of her breast cancer journey. And I had watched all of her videos on that well before this was a reality for me, which I actually just find to be such like a, I don't know, like I almost felt more prepared for this because I had seen her experience and I knew a little bit of what to expect. And so I've been really grateful that I had been exposed to her story well before now. And then over on TikTok, I can't think of the names of the accounts right now, but I think it's Alex, and she's got the Instagram with it, the Check Your Brits. And I just cannot think of the other girl's name, but I'll pop them here because they've just been so handy to watch these girls going through similar things and sharing their journey and their feelings and everything. Has been really, really awesome. But yeah, it's been a lot. I feel like I'm coming across as quite unemotional about it right now, but that's not my everyday reality. I would hate for anybody to watch this and think, oh my goodness, she's dealing with this so well. Like, how is she holding herself together? That hasn't been most of my days. I have days where I literally wake up crying and moments where it's just all too much and I don't want to do it. And, you know, with all of these emergency trips and things, I've had a lot of moments where I've just been like, I don't want to feel like this anymore and I don't want to be sick. And yeah, it's an absolute whirlwind, and I just don't want anyone to watch this and think that you have to be super positive or you have to feel good or you have to be grateful or anything like that, because it just sucks. It's just shit. And I have felt crappy, just plain crappy and upset and why me and all of those things. It's hard to share on social media because the moments where you feel like picking up the camera and actually talking or actually sharing are when you are feeling better and you're in a better headspace. And when you're in a low spot or it's a bad day, you don't necessarily want to pick the camera up and film. So just want to acknowledge that, yeah, it's not easy. And yeah, I'm not sure what I will share with you next or what these videos will look like, but thank you for being here, and I'll see you when I feel like picking up the camera again.